My daughter called me an embarrassment at her wedding in front of 185 guests. My name is Brenda Armstrong. I'm 58 years old. I teach high school chemistry in Charlotte. Her wedding cost $78,000. Her new in-laws, the Crawfords, the kind of people who own half of uptown Charlotte, they told everyone they paid for everything. Made sure every guest knew I was just the teacher, the one who didn't belong, the black woman from the East Side who somehow raised a daughter good enough for their son. But here's what they didn't know. I paid for most of it. The $28,000 honeymoon to Bali, the wedding band, the photographer. Over $110,000 total from my late husband's life insurance money. My husband Marcus. The man who died 5 years ago. The man they erased from the entire wedding. No photo. No memorial. Not even his name in the program. When my daughter Maya told me not to embarrass her, I stood up, walked out of that ballroom, and made 3 phone calls that changed everything. A lot of you have probably seen the video. It went viral. 3.8 million views. But you haven't heard my side of the story. And if you're someone who's ever been taken for granted by family, ever felt invisible after years of sacrifice, this one's for you. Hit that subscribe button. I'd love to know where you're watching from. And if you've ever had to draw a line like I did, this is how a teacher making $68,000 a year taught a family worth millions that respect isn't about money. It's about remembering who carried you. Let me back up, give you the whole picture. My husband Marcus died 5 years ago, March 15, 2019. Colon cancer, stage 4. He fought for 14 months. Night shift nurse for 22 years at Carolinas Medical Center. He died taking care of other people, even when he should have been taking care of himself. He left a life insurance policy. $82,000. State Farm. I remember opening that envelope, his signature still on the beneficiary form. Blue ink, slightly smudged where his hand had rested. Our daughter Maya was 24 when he died. Senior year at UNC Charlotte, business major. I worked summer school every year after that. $7,800 extra each summer. Helped pay for her final year, her graduation. Marcus would have wanted that. What I didn't tell Maya, what I didn't tell anyone, was that Marcus's cancer treatment had left us with $185,000 in medical debt. The insurance he had through the hospital covered some of it, but not enough. Not nearly enough. After the $82,000 life insurance payout, I still owed $103,000. I've been paying $1,650 every single month for 5 years. That's on top of my mortgage, my car payment, everything else, on a teacher's salary. But I didn't want Maya to know. I didn't want her to carry that burden, so I told her the insurance covered everything. I told her we were fine. And I gave her what was left of her father's money because I thought that's what love meant. Giving everything, even when you have nothing left to give. 2 years ago, August 20th, 2022, I gave Maya $58,000 from that insurance money. I told her, this is for your future, down payment on a house. Your father wanted you set up right. She thanked me, hugged me, said she'd save every penny. She met Derek 8 months later, April 2023. Derek Crawford. White boy from old Charlotte money. His father Richard owns half the commercial properties uptown. His mother Diane runs the junior league. You know the type. Country club memberships, Lake Norman vacation homes. The word summer used as a verb. He proposed 6 months after that, October 2023. The wedding planning started immediately, and I started noticing things, small things at first. The way Derek would correct Maya's grammar in front of his parents. The way Diane would smile at me, that tight smile white women give when they're being polite but not kind. The way nobody ever asked about Marcus, about Maya's father, about the man who'd raised her. The wedding program arrived 3 weeks before the ceremony. Crane stationery, ivory paper, 110-pound cardstock, gold embossed, Crawford family crest on the cover. Cost $2,400 for 200 copies. My friend Lorraine, Marcus's best friend from the hospital, she showed it to me over coffee. "Brenda, did you see this?" I opened it. Derek's parents got a full paragraph. Names, titles, accomplishments. Richard and Diane Crawford of Charlotte, North Carolina. Richard is president and CEO of Crawford Properties. Diane serves as president of the Junior League of Charlotte. My name. 1 line. 10-point font. Brenda Armstrong. No descriptor. No mention that I raised Maya alone for 5 years after her father died. No mention that I'm a teacher. No mention that I exist as anything more than a footnote. I told Lorraine, it's their day. I don't need the spotlight. She gave me that look, the one Marcus used to give me when I was letting someone walk over me. "Brenda," she said, "this isn't about spotlight. This is about respect, about remembering Marcus, about remembering what you sacrificed." I shrugged it off, told myself it was just wedding stress, told myself it didn't matter, but it kept happening. The rehearsal dinner. Friday night, September 19th, 2024. Private room at Fahrenheit Restaurant. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. 38 guests. $5,600 bill. The Crawfords paid. Made sure everyone knew. Diane stood up to give a toast. 14 minutes long. I timed it. She had note cards. Printed bullet points. She thanked the florist, the wedding planner, Derek's college friends, family, the caterer, the band. Not once did she mention me. Not once did she mention Marcus. When she finished, everyone applauded. Maya hugged her, called her the most wonderful mother-in-law in the world. I sat at the far end of the table, separate from the family seating, like I was a guest, not the mother of the bride. Lorraine caught my eye from across the room. She shook her head slowly. After dinner, I pulled Maya aside in the hallway. "Hey baby, your dad would have loved all this." She smiled, but it was distracted. Quick. "Yeah, Mom. For sure." Then she added, "Diane's just really organized. You know how she is." "She didn't mention me in her speech," I said. Kept my voice light, casual. "Mom, don't take it personal. It's just wedding stuff." She had a lot to cover. But I'd seen those note cards. Diane Crawford doesn't forget things. She makes choices, and she'd chosen to erase me. I went home that night and couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Marcus, about the night shifts he worked for 22 years. About how he'd come home at 7 a.m. smelling like antiseptic and exhaustion and still make Maya breakfast before she went to school. About how he'd missed so many of her recitals, her games, her moments, because he was taking care of other people's families. And now his daughter was getting married, and it was like he'd never existed. I opened my laptop, pulled up my email, found a confirmation from May 15th, 2024. Subject line, Armstrong Honeymoon Confirmation, BL9247, Singapore Airlines, Charlotte to Bali via Tokyo, 2 business class tickets. 4 Seasons Resort Bali, at Jimbaran Bay, Ocean View Villa, 12 nights. Total, $28,240. I'd booked it secretly 4 months earlier through Ashley, Derek's younger sister, the only one in that family who'd been kind to me, who'd looked uncomfortable every time her mother made comments about the teacher or Maya's background. I stared at that number, $28,240, almost half my annual salary after taxes. They didn't know. The Crawfords thought Derek had paid for the honeymoon. Maya thought Derek had paid for it. Derek had let everyone believe that. I closed the laptop, sat in my kitchen. Same kitchen table Marcus and I bought in 1998. laminate top, chipping at the edges. Scratches from Maya's homework, from art projects, from 26 years of life. And I thought about the $1,650 I'd sent to the hospital billing department 2 days earlier, my 60th payment on Marcus's medical debt, $43,000 left to go. I'd given Maya $58,000 while I was drowning in her father's cancer bills, and she didn't even know. The next morning was the wedding, Saturday, September 21st, 2024. I woke up at 5:30. Couldn't sleep anyway. I pulled out a folder from my bedroom closet, the one I kept hidden, the one nobody knew about. Document 1, State Farm Life Insurance Payout Letter. $2,000. Marcus's signature. March 15th, 2019. Beneficiary designation, Maya Armstrong, for education and future security. Document 2. Bank transfer receipt. August 20th, 2022. $58,000. Memo line. Dad's gift. Make him proud. House down payment fund. I found out 4 months ago, scrolling through Maya's Instagram, that she'd spent it, all of it, on the wedding, venue upgrade, designer dress alterations, open bar package, photography. She'd posted a photo with Derek at the venue, champagne glasses raised, caption, "So blessed to have our dream wedding. Can't wait to marry my best friend." $58,000. Her father's money, meant for a house, for stability, for the future he'd worked himself to death to provide, gone to impress the Crawfords. She never told me, never told Derek where the money came from. Document 3, Receipt from Diamonds Direct Charlotte. August 8th, 2024. Platinum wedding band, 5mm, custom engraved with Derek's initials, $13,500. I'd paid for it 6 weeks before the wedding. Maya had called me, voice tight with stress. "Mom, Derek wants this specific band, the one his grandfather wore. But it's expensive, and we're over budget. Can you help? Just a loan. I'll pay you back." I said yes, wrote the check. She told Derek it was from her savings. Document 4, Personal check, number 2,847, September 15th, 2024, $10,800. Payable to Moments Captured Photography. The photographer's final balance. Maya called me 6 days before the wedding. Panicked. "Mom, there's a problem. The photographer needs the final payment. Derek's parents thought we had it covered. Can you help?" I drove to the photography studio that afternoon, handed the owner my check. She looked at it, looked at me. "Miss Armstrong, you're Maya's mother?" "Yes." "And you're paying for this?" "Yes." She nodded slowly. "My mother was a teacher too. Single parent, I know what you're doing. I respect it." She didn't know the half of it. She didn't know about the $103,000 in medical debt. She didn't know that I was choosing between paying for my daughter's wedding photos and paying down her dead father's cancer bills. Added up. $58,000 that Maya spent on the wedding without telling me, $28,000 for the honeymoon, $13,500 for the wedding band, $10,800 for the photographer, $110,300 total. I make $68,000 a year before taxes. After taxes, $49,800. I just spent more than 2 years of take-home salary on a wedding for a daughter who was about to stand up in front of 185 people and introduce me as an embarrassment. I put the documents back in the folder, got dressed, navy blue dress from Belk, $89 on clearance, the most I could afford after all those checks I'd written. I drove to the church, 4th Street Baptist, where Marcus and I got married 31 years ago, where Maya was baptized. where Marcus's funeral was held. I'd asked if we could have a small memorial for him at the wedding. Just a photo, a candle, something. Diane had said, "Brenda, we want the day to be joyful, forward-looking. We don't want to bring sadness into Derek and Maya's celebration." Forward-looking, like Marcus had never existed, like the man who'd raised Maya, who'd paid for her childhood, who'd worked himself sick providing for her, was sadness they needed to avoid. I walked into the church. The sanctuary was decorated with white roses and gold ribbon. Crawford family colors. Everything was beautiful. Everything was expensive. Everything was theirs. I found my seat. Third row, not front row where mothers of the bride usually sit. Third row, because the front row was reserved for Derek's family, his grandparents, his aunts and uncles. Lorraine slid into the seat next to me. She squeezed my hand. Didn't say anything. Didn't need to. The ceremony started. Maya walked down the aisle on her uncle's arm, my brother James, because there was no father to walk her down. James looked uncomfortable in his rental tuxedo. He's a mechanic, works with his hands. The Crawfords had made it clear he wasn't their first choice, but they couldn't exactly have Derek's father walk her. Maya looked beautiful. $8,000 dress. I knew because I'd seen the receipt when I helped her pick it up from the bridal shop. She hadn't paid for it. Derek's parents had. Another thing they'd made sure everyone knew. The ceremony was 35 minutes. The pastor mentioned Derek's family 3 times, mentioned their legacy, their values, their commitment to Charlotte. Never mentioned mine, never mentioned Marcus. Never mentioned that Maya was the daughter of a man who dedicated his life to healing people. When it was over, everyone moved to the reception. The ballroom at the Mint Museum, $42,000 venue rental. I knew because Maya had left the contract on my kitchen table one day, and I'd seen it. The Crawfords had paid for the venue. They'd made sure the program listed them as hosts, made sure everyone knew this was their gift to the young couple. What nobody knew was that I'd paid for almost everything else. The things that made the wedding actually happen. The honeymoon, the rings, the photos, the flowers, though nobody had asked me about those. I sat at my assigned table, table 8, near the back, with my brother James, my sister Patricia, and some of Maya's distant cousins, the family table, the black side of the family, separate from the Crawfords and their friends at the front. Lorraine found me. "This seating chart is disrespectful." "It's fine," I said. But it wasn't fine. Nothing about this was fine. The reception started with toasts. Derek's best man went first. 8 minutes about college pranks, ski trips to Colorado, summer internships at Crawford Properties. Everyone laughed, applauded. Then Derek's father, Richard Crawford, stood up. He adjusted his Rolex, cleared his throat. The room went silent. "Good evening, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Richard Crawford, Derek's father. Diane and I are so honored to welcome Maya into our family. We've watched Derek grow into an exceptional young man, and we know he's found his perfect partner." He talked about Derek's accomplishments, his business degree, his position at Crawford Properties, his bright future. He talked about the Crawford family legacy. 4 generations in Charlotte, building the city, contributing to the community. Then he said, "We're so pleased that Maya will be part of carrying that legacy forward. She's a wonderful young woman who's worked very hard to get where she is, and we know that with the right guidance, the right opportunities, she'll thrive in the life Derek can provide for her." The right guidance, the life Derek can provide. Like Maya was a project, like she'd been struggling before their son rescued her. I felt Lorraine's hand on my arm, tight, warning me not to react. Richard continued, "Diane and I are proud to have hosted this beautiful celebration. We spared no expense because Derek deserves the best, and we believe Maya does too, to the happy couple." Everyone raised their glasses, applauded. Maya was beaming. Derek kissed her. They looked happy. And I sat there, at table 8, thinking about the $28,000 honeymoon Richard Crawford thought his son had paid for, thinking about the $13,500 wedding band, the $10,800 photographer, all the things I'd paid for while Richard stood up there and talked about sparing no expense. The DJ announced it was time for the mother-son dance. Diane and Derek took the floor. What a wonderful world played, she cried. He held her. Everyone watched. It was beautiful. Then the DJ said, "And now the mother-daughter dance." My chest tightened. I stood up, started to walk toward the dance floor. Maya was standing there, looking around. I raised my hand, started to smile. Then Diane stepped forward, took Maya's hand. "May I?" she said into the microphone. "I know tradition says mother of the bride, but Derek and Maya have become such a unit, and I already think of Maya as my daughter. If Brenda doesn't mind sharing this moment." Everyone looked at me. 185 people. Waiting. What was I supposed to say? No? Make a scene? Prove I was the difficult one, the one who didn't understand how things work in their world? I smiled, nodded. Of course. I sat back down, watched Diane Crawford dance with my daughter, watched Maya rest her head on Diane's shoulder, watched them sway to "In My Life" by the Beatles, watched my daughter choose the woman who'd erased her father over the woman who'd raised her. Lorraine leaned over. "Brenda, this is wrong." "It's fine," I whispered, but my hands were shaking. After the dance, dinner was served. Filet mignon, Chilean sea bass, $185 per plate. I barely ate. I kept thinking about Marcus, about how he'd be devastated to see this, to see his daughter pretending he'd never existed, to see his wife sitting at the back of the room like a stranger. Then came the speeches, the maid of honor, Derek's sister Ashley. She was kind. She mentioned me. Maya's mother Brenda raised an incredible woman. We're lucky to have Maya in our family. It was something. It was more than anyone else had given me. Then Maya stood up. She was going to give a speech. Thank people. I waited. "I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Derek and I are so blessed. I want to especially thank Richard and Diane for hosting this beautiful wedding, for welcoming me into your family with open arms, for treating me like your own daughter from day one. I couldn't ask for better in-laws." She paused. Everyone applauded. "And I want to thank Derek for being my rock, my partner, my best friend, for giving me the life I always dreamed of, for showing me what real love looks like." She raised her glass. Everyone cheered. She sat down. She never mentioned me, never mentioned Marcus, never thanked the people who'd actually paid for the wedding she was celebrating. I felt something crack inside me, something that had been bending for 5 years, ever since Marcus died, ever since I'd started trying to be both parents, to give Maya everything, to make up for the hole her father's death had left. The DJ announced open dancing. People moved to the floor. I stayed at table 8. Lorraine stayed with me. "You need to say something," she said. "What am I supposed to say?" "The truth. That you paid for this wedding, that they're erasing you and Marcus like you don't exist. It's not the time." "When is the time, Brenda? After they've completely written you out of Maya's life? After she starts calling Diane Mom?" I didn't answer, because I didn't know. An hour later, the DJ made an announcement. "We're going to take a moment for anyone who wants to share memories or well wishes for the happy couple. The microphone is open." A few people went up, told stories, made jokes. Everyone laughed. Then Derek went to the microphone. "I just want to say one more thank you. To my parents, who made this incredible night possible. And to Maya, for choosing me, for trusting me to take care of her. I promise I'll spend every day making sure you never have to worry about anything again. Never have to worry." Like she'd been struggling. Like she'd been drowning before he saved her. I stood up. I didn't plan it. I didn't think about it. I just stood up and started walking toward the microphone. Lorraine grabbed my arm. Brenda, what are you doing? What I should have done 5 years ago. I walked through the ballroom, past the tables of people I didn't know, past the Crawfords and their friends, past the expensive flower arrangements and the gold chargers and all the money that had been spent to prove Maya was worthy of this family. I reached the microphone. Derek was still standing there. He looked confused. Excuse me, I said. I'd like to say something. Maya's face went pale. I saw her mouth something to Derek. Probably don't let her. But Derek stepped aside. What else could he do? I was the mother of the bride. Even if everyone had forgotten that. I took the microphone, looked out at 185 people, all of them staring at me, waiting. Good evening, I said. My voice shook. I steadied it. I'm Brenda Armstrong, Maya's mother. I haven't spoken tonight because, honestly, I wasn't sure anyone wanted to hear from me. I felt pretty invisible all evening. Someone coughed. The room was completely silent. But I realized I need to say something, because there's someone who should be here tonight who isn't. My husband Marcus, Maya's father. He died 5 years ago from colon cancer. He was a nurse. He worked night shifts for 22 years at Carolinas Medical Center, taking care of people. He gave everything to this family. And tonight, nobody has mentioned him once. Maya stood up. Mom, please. Please what, baby? Please be quiet. Please stay invisible. Please keep pretending like your father never existed. This isn't the time, Derek said. Then when is the time? I looked at him. When is it appropriate to remember the man who raised the woman you married? The man whose insurance money paid for most of this wedding? Richard Crawford stood up. Excuse me, we paid for this wedding. You paid for the venue. You paid for the dinner. But I paid for the honeymoon you're taking to Bali, the $28,000 honeymoon. I paid for Derek's wedding band, $13,500. I paid for the photographer, $10,800. I gave Maya $58,000 2 years ago, money from her father's life insurance, meant for a down payment on a house. She spent it on this wedding and didn't tell anyone where it came from. Maya's face crumbled. Mom, stop. Please stop. Why? Because I'm embarrassing you? You told me this morning not to embarrass you, Maya. Do you know what's embarrassing? Having your daughter erase you. Having your daughter's in-laws treat you like you're beneath them. Having nobody acknowledge that your husband existed. The ballroom was dead silent. 185 people staring at me. Some with their phones out already recording. I could see the red lights. The video that would change everything was already being made. Diane Crawford stood up, her face tight. This is inappropriate. This is not the time or place. You're right, I said. The appropriate time was during your 14-minute toast at the rehearsal dinner when you thanked everyone except me. Or during the ceremony when the pastor mentioned your family legacy 3 times and never once mentioned Maya's father. Or when you took my daughter's hand for the mother-daughter dance without even asking if I minded sharing my only moment. I asked you, Diane said. You said yes. What was I supposed to say? Make a scene? Prove I'm the difficult black mother who doesn't know her place? The room tensed. I'd said it. The thing everyone had been thinking but nobody had been saying. Richard stepped forward. Now wait a minute, this has nothing to do with race. Doesn't it? You've spent this entire weekend making sure everyone knows I'm just the teacher. The one from the wrong side of Charlotte. The one who doesn't belong. You put me at table 8, Mr. Crawford. Table 8, at my own daughter's wedding. You gave me one line in the program. You let your wife dance with my daughter on the one moment that was supposed to be mine. Maya was crying now. Mom, please. You're ruining everything. I'm ruining everything? Baby, I've given you everything. Every single thing I had. Your father's insurance money, my savings, my time, my dignity. And you thanked everyone tonight except me. You thanked the Crawfords for hosting. You thanked Derek for giving you the life you always dreamed of. Like the life you had before wasn't good enough. Like your father and I weren't good enough. That's not what I meant, Maya said. Then what did you mean? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're ashamed of me, ashamed of where you come from. Ashamed that your mother teaches chemistry instead of running the junior league. Derek moved toward the microphone. Mrs. Armstrong, I think you should sit down. Don't tell me what to do. You don't get to tell me anything. You've been letting everyone believe you paid for your own honeymoon. You've been letting Maya lie about where that $58,000 came from. You've been pretending like you built this life on your own, when the truth is, you built it on my dead husband's insurance money. Mom, stop. Maya's voice broke. Please stop talking. Why? Because the Crawfords might finally see that you're not the perfect project they thought you were? That you come from people who struggle, who sacrifice, who work for everything we have? I looked out at the crowd, at my brother James, who was nodding, at my sister Patricia, who had tears in her eyes, at Lorraine, who looked scared, at the Crawfords' friends, who looked horrified. I'm not trying to ruin Maya's wedding, I said. I'm trying to make sure people remember that this wedding happened because of a man named Marcus Armstrong, a nurse who worked himself to death taking care of other people, a father who loved his daughter more than anything, and a mother who has been paying $1,650 a month for 5 years to cover his cancer treatment bills because the insurance didn't cover everything, while giving her daughter every penny she could, including the money that was supposed to help me survive. Maya's face went white. What? Your father's life insurance was $82,000. His cancer treatment cost $185,000. I've been paying off $103,000 in medical debt for 5 years. That's why I work summer school. That's why I drive a 2-year-old car. That's why I live in the same house we bought in 1998. Not because I'm comfortable. Because I'm drowning. And I still gave you $58,000 because I thought that's what love meant. You never told me, Maya whispered. Because I didn't want you to carry his death like I do. Because I wanted you to have a chance at the life he dreamed for you. But apparently, that life includes erasing him. Erasing me. Pretending like we're an embarrassment you need to overcome. I put the microphone down on the stand. The feedback screeched. Nobody moved. I'm leaving now, I said. I love you, Maya. I've always loved you, but I can't stand here and watch you pretend like your father never existed. Like I don't exist. I deserve better than that, and so did he. I walked off the stage, through the silent ballroom, past table after table of people with their phones out, past the Crawfords, who looked like they'd been slapped, past Maya, who was sobbing into Derek's shoulder. Lorraine caught up with me in the hallway. Brenda, wait. I need to go. Let me drive you. No. Stay. Make sure Maya's okay. Are you okay? I wasn't. I was shaking. My hands were trembling so hard I could barely hold my purse, but I nodded. I will be. I walked out of the Mint Museum, into the September night. It was warm, humid, the kind of night Marcus used to love. He'd sit on our back porch after his night shifts and drink coffee and watch the sunrise. I got in my car. My Toyota Corolla with 178,000 miles. The car the Crawfords had made fun of. The car that had gotten me to work every day for 12 years because I couldn't afford anything newer while paying off Marcus's medical bills. I sat in the driver's seat, pulled out my phone, made the first call. Singapore Airlines. Hello, this is Brenda Armstrong. I need to cancel a booking. Confirmation number BL9247. Let me pull that up. Round trip Charlotte to Bali, departing tomorrow. Business class for 2. Is there a problem, Miss Armstrong? I'm the one who paid for it. I'm canceling it. Ma'am, this is a non-refundable ticket. You'll lose the entire amount. I understand. Cancel it. There was a pause. Are you sure? That's $28,240. I'm sure. Cancel it now, please. It will take 24 to 48 hours to process. That's fine. Just make sure they can't board that plane tomorrow. Second call, Diamonds Direct Charlotte. It was after hours, so I left a message. This is Brenda Armstrong. I paid for a platinum wedding band on August 8th. Check number 2,836, $13,500. I'm stopping payment on that check first thing Monday morning. The band was obtained under false pretenses. My daughter's husband told her he paid for it with his savings. He lied. I want my money back. Third call, Moments Captured Photography. Also voicemail. This is Brenda Armstrong. I paid for Maya Armstrong's wedding photography. Final payment of $10,800. I'm calling to inform you that the photos are not to be delivered until I authorize it. I paid for them. They're my property until I decide otherwise. I'll be in touch about next steps. I sat in my car, phone in my lap, and started crying. Deep, shaking sobs. The kind I hadn't allowed myself since Marcus's funeral, because for 5 years I'd been strong. I'd been the one everyone leaned on. I'd been the one who said yes to everything, who gave everything, who never complained, and it had cost me everything. My savings, my dignity, my daughter's respect, my husband's memory. My phone started ringing. Maya. I declined the call. She called again. I declined again. Then Derek called, then Diane. Then numbers I didn't recognize. People from the wedding, probably, trying to fix it, trying to smooth things over. I turned my phone off. I drove home. Not to the reception, not to try to fix things, just home. To the house Marcus and I bought in 1998, the house where we'd raised Maya. The house where he died in our bedroom, with hospice nurses checking his vitals every 4 hours. I walked inside. Everything was exactly as I'd left it that morning. Coffee cup in the sink, wedding invitation on the counter, the navy blue shoes I'd almost worn but decided against. I sat on the couch. The same couch we'd bought at a yard sale 15 years ago. Marcus had reupholstered it himself, said it was good enough if you didn't look too close. That's what I'd been for 5 years. Good enough if you didn't look too close. Good enough to pay for things. Good enough to stay quiet. Good enough to be erased. My phone was still off. I didn't want to see the messages. Didn't want to hear Maya crying. Didn't want Derek trying to explain. Didn't want Diane Crawford telling me I'd embarrassed myself and their family. I'd embarrassed myself. By asking to be acknowledged. By asking to be respected. By asking for my dead husband to be remembered at his only daughter's wedding. Around midnight, someone knocked on my door. I looked through the peephole. Lorraine. I let her in. The reception ended early, she said. Maya was hysterical. Derek's parents were furious. People were talking about calling you. Trying to fix it. I told them to give you space. Thank you. Brenda, you know this is going to be everywhere by morning. Someone recorded the whole thing. It's probably already online. I know. Are you okay? I thought about that. Was I okay? I just destroyed my daughter's wedding reception. I'd exposed family secrets in front of 185 people. I'd canceled a $28,000 honeymoon. I'd made enemies of some of the most powerful people in Charlotte. I don't know, I said. But I'm not sorry. Does that make me a bad person? No. It makes you someone who finally stood up for herself. Marcus would be ashamed of me. Marcus would be proud of you. He always said you let people walk over you, that you were too kind for your own good. He'd be glad you finally drew a line. I lost my daughter tonight. Maybe. Or maybe you saved her from becoming someone who forgets where she came from. Lorraine stayed until 2 a.m., made me tea, sat with me in silence. When she left, she hugged me at the door. Call me when you're ready. I'm here. I slept for maybe 3 hours. Woke up at 5 a.m. to my phone buzzing. I'd turned it back on. 47 missed calls. 89 text messages. 12 voicemails. The first text was from my brother James. Proud of you, sis. About damn time someone said it. The second was from Maya. Mom, how could you? How could you do that to me? On my wedding day. The third was from Derek. Mrs. Armstrong, we need to talk about the honeymoon and the other items you mentioned. Please call me. I deleted them all, opened my laptop, searched Brenda Armstrong wedding. The video was everywhere. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. Someone had posted it with the caption, "Mother exposes daughter's lies at wedding reception." 427,000 views and counting. Comments in the thousands. Some supported me. She's right to stand up for herself. Family shouldn't erase you. That father deserved to be remembered. The daughter is ungrateful. Others attacked me. She ruined her daughter's wedding. This was selfish and attention-seeking. She could have talked to her daughter privately. I closed the laptop. What was done was done. At 7 a.m., my principal, Dr. Morrison, called. Brenda, I saw the video. Are you all right? I don't know. Take Monday off. Take the week if you need to. We'll get a substitute for your classes. Am I in trouble? For what? Having feelings? Standing up for yourself? No, Brenda. You're not in trouble. But I imagine you need time to process. Thank you. At 9 a.m., Derek showed up at my door. His tuxedo shirt was untucked. He looked like he hadn't slept. Mrs. Armstrong, please. We need to talk. About what? The honeymoon, the band, the photographer. You can't just cancel everything. Maya's devastated. Maya's devastated? Good. Now she knows how I've felt for the past year while you and your family erased me and her father. That wasn't our intention. Wasn't it? Your mother took the mother-daughter dance without asking. Your father gave a speech about how Maya needs guidance and how you're giving her the life she always dreamed of. Like the life she had with me wasn't good enough. Like her father and I were something she needed to overcome. We just wanted her to feel welcome in our family. By making her forget her own family? That's not love, Derek. That's erasure. She's inside the car. She wants to talk to you. I looked past him. Maya was sitting in Derek's BMW, crying. Even from the porch, I could see her shoulders shaking. Tell her I'm not ready. Mrs. Armstrong, please. She's your daughter. And I'm her mother, the mother she told not to embarrass her, the mother she thanked exactly 0 times at her reception. Tell her when she's ready to apologize for erasing her father, for taking my money and lying about it, for choosing the Crawfords over her own family, then we can talk, but not before. I closed the door, locked it, stood on the other side, listening to Derek walk back to his car, listening to the engine start, listening to them drive away. And for the first time in 5 years, I didn't feel guilty for saying no. By Monday morning, the video had 1.2 million views. By Tuesday, it was 2.8 million. By Wednesday, it was national news. Mother calls out daughter at wedding on Good Morning America. Viral wedding video sparks debate about family respect on CNN. I stopped watching, stopped reading comments, turned off my phone except to check messages from work. Dr. Morrison called Wednesday afternoon. Brenda, I need you to come in tomorrow. We need to talk. My stomach dropped. Am I being fired? No. But the district superintendent wants to meet with you. Some parents have filed complaints. Complaints about what? About your conduct. They're saying a teacher who publicly humiliates her family shows poor judgment, that you might not be fit to work with students. I stood up for myself at my daughter's wedding. That has nothing to do with my teaching. I know, but you know how parents are. They're using the video as ammunition. Just come in tomorrow, 10 a.m. We'll sort this out. I met with the superintendent, Dr. Patricia Hayes, and Dr. Morrison on Thursday morning. They sat across from me in the conference room. Professional, careful. Miss Armstrong, Dr. Hayes began, I want to be clear that we value your 26 years of service to this district. Your teaching evaluations are excellent. Your students respect you. This isn't about your professional competence. Then, what is it about? Optics. We've received 14 formal complaints from parents. They're concerned about your judgment. They're asking if someone who would create a public scene at a family event is stable enough to teach their children. A public scene. I spoke the truth. I asked to be respected. I honored my late husband's memory. That's a public scene? Dr. Morrison spoke up. Brenda, they're saying you showed poor emotional control, that you embarrassed your daughter on her wedding day, that you used sensitive family financial information as a weapon. I used it as the truth. My daughter spent her father's insurance money on a wedding and lied about it. Her in-laws erased him from the ceremony. Was I supposed to stay silent? Perhaps you could have addressed it privately, Dr. Hayes said. I tried. For months. I was ignored, dismissed, treated like I didn't matter, so I spoke up. And now I'm being punished for it because it makes people uncomfortable. There was a long pause. We're going to place you on paid administrative leave, Dr. Hayes said. 2 weeks. Let the attention die down. Let parents calm down. Then we'll reevaluate. You're punishing me. We're protecting you. And protecting the district. If we don't respond to these complaints, parents will escalate. They'll go to the school board. They'll go to the media. This way, we can say we took appropriate action. Appropriate action for what? For being a mother who demanded respect? For creating a situation that became a national news story, Dr. Hayes said. Brenda, I'm sympathetic. Truly. But you have to understand, once something goes viral, it stops being personal. It becomes public, and public employees have different standards. I left the meeting feeling hollow. 26 years of teaching, perfect evaluations, students who'd gone on to become doctors, engineers, scientists, and I was being put on leave because I'd embarrassed wealthy white people at a wedding. The video hit 3.8 million views by Friday. News outlets were calling it the wedding speech heard round the world. Think pieces were being written. When family sacrifice goes unappreciated. The problem with entitled children. How social media is changing family dynamics. Everyone had an opinion. Nobody knew the whole story. Friday afternoon, Maya called. I almost didn't answer. But I did. Mom. Her voice was small. Broken. Maya, I need to tell you something. I'm pregnant. Everything stopped. The anger, the hurt, the righteousness, everything. How far along? 3 months. I found out in June. I didn't tell anyone except Derek because we wanted to wait until after the wedding. 3 months. She'd been pregnant at the wedding, pregnant when I walked out, pregnant when I canceled the honeymoon. Congratulations, I said. I meant it. Despite everything, I meant it. Mom, I'm scared. The stress from everything. The wedding. The video. Derek's parents are furious. They're blaming me for embarrassing them. And my body. It doesn't feel right. I've been cramping. Spotting. The doctor said I need to reduce stress or I could lose the baby. My heart clenched. What do you need? I don't know. I needed to tell you. Because if something happens to this baby, if I lose it because of all this stress, I don't know what I'll do. Maya, you need to rest. You need to take care of yourself. I can't rest. Derek is furious about the honeymoon. His parents want me to make a public statement apologizing for your behavior. The video is everywhere. People at my work have seen it. I can't escape it. Then don't read the comments. Don't watch the news. Just focus on your health and your baby. That's easy for you to say. You're not the one everyone's talking about. You're not the one whose wedding got ruined. And just like that, the softness was gone. She wasn't calling to apologize. She was calling to make me feel guilty. I have to go, I said. Mom, wait. Take care of yourself, Maya, and that baby. But don't call me again until you're ready to acknowledge what you did, what your in-laws did, and what your father meant to both of us. I hung up, sat on my couch, and wondered if I'd just made the biggest mistake of my life. 2 weeks later, October 10th, I got a call from Derek. Not Maya. Derek. Mrs. Armstrong, Maya's in the hospital. My blood went cold. What happened? She had a miscarriage. Last night, we lost the baby. I couldn't breathe. Is she okay? Physically, yes. The doctors say she'll recover, but emotionally, she's devastated. She keeps saying it's her fault, that the stress caused it. That if the wedding hadn't been so chaotic, if the video hadn't gone viral, if everything hadn't fallen apart, the baby would still be alive. Let me talk to her. She doesn't want to talk to you. She blames you, Mrs. Armstrong. She says you killed her baby. The words hit like a physical blow. I didn't. I never wanted this. But it happened. The doctor said stress can contribute to early miscarriage, and Maya's been under incredible stress since the wedding. The viral video, the public humiliation, fighting with my parents, fighting with you, her body couldn't take it. Derek, I'm sorry. I never meant for any of this to happen. But it did happen. And now my wife has lost our child, and she won't stop crying, and she won't talk to anyone. And all she says is that her mother destroyed her wedding and killed her baby. That's not fair. Maybe not. But it's how she feels. I'm calling because I thought you should know. But don't try to contact her. She made me promise not to give you her room number. She doesn't want to see you. He hung up. I sat in my living room, the phone in my lap, and felt my world collapse. My daughter had lost her baby, and she blamed me. Maybe she was right too. Maybe if I'd stayed silent, swallowed the disrespect, let them erase Marcus one more time, Maya wouldn't have been stressed. The baby would still be alive. I'd still have a relationship with my daughter. I'd gotten my dignity. And it cost me my grandchild. Lorraine came over that night. She'd heard the news through the hospital grapevine. Marcus's old colleagues still talked. It's not your fault, she said. Maya thinks it is. Maya's grieving. She needs someone to blame. You're the easiest target. But what if she's right? What if the stress from the wedding, from the video, from everything, what if that's what caused the miscarriage? Miscarriages happen, Brenda. First trimester especially. Sometimes there's no reason. Sometimes it's just biology. Or sometimes it's a mother who destroyed her daughter's wedding and turned it into a national spectacle. You stood up for yourself. You honored Marcus. That's not wrong. Then why does it feel like I've lost everything? Lorraine didn't have an answer for that. I went back to work after my 2-week leave. The students were awkward around me. Some had clearly seen the video. Others had heard about it. They whispered, stared, asked careful questions. Miss Armstrong, are you okay? I'm fine. Let's talk about covalent bonds. The other teachers were supportive, mostly. A few avoided me. One, Mrs. Patterson, pulled me aside after school. Brenda, I saw the video. I just want you to know, I think you were brave. My daughter did something similar to me last year, erased me from her life after she married money. I wish I'd had your courage. It didn't feel like courage, it felt like desperation. Sometimes those are the same thing. But at night, alone in my house, I wondered if it was worth it. I'd exposed Maya's lies. I'd honored Marcus's memory. I'd demanded respect. And I'd lost my daughter. Lost my grandchild. Lost my family. The video kept spreading. By November, it had 3.8 million views. People made reaction videos, commentary videos, what the mother did right, what the mother did wrong. Everyone had an opinion about my life, my choices, my pain. I stopped reading comments, stopped watching the videos, but I couldn't escape it. People recognized me at the grocery store, at church, at the gas station. Are you the wedding lady? You did the right thing. You should be ashamed of yourself. Everyone had something to say. Nobody understood what it cost me. 3 months passed. December, the holidays. Christmas came and went. No call from Maya, no text, nothing. I sent her a card. Thinking of you. I'm sorry for your loss. I love you, Mom. She didn't respond. I spent Christmas with Lorraine and her family. They were kind, tried to include me, but I felt like a ghost, present but not really there. New Year's Eve, I sat alone in my living room, watched the ball drop on TV, thought about Marcus, about how he'd always hated New Year's Eve. Just another day, he'd say. Don't need a calendar to tell me when to change. But I needed something to change. Because I couldn't keep living like this. In limbo, estranged from my only child, blamed for a miscarriage I didn't cause, known nationally as the mother who ruined her daughter's wedding. On January 3rd, Derek called again. Mrs. Armstrong, Maya and I are in therapy. Our counselor thinks it might help if you joined us for a session to talk through what happened, to see if there's a way forward. Does Maya want that? She's willing to try. She's still angry, still hurting, but she's willing to talk. That's something. Okay. When? Next Wednesday. 2 p.m. I'll send you the address. I hung up and felt something I hadn't felt in months. Not hope exactly, but possibility, maybe. The therapist's office was in South Park. Neutral territory. Expensive furniture. Abstract art on the walls. The kind of place the Crawfords would feel comfortable. The kind of place that cost $250 an hour. Maya and Derek were already there when I arrived. Maya looked thin, fragile. She'd lost weight. Dark circles under her eyes. She didn't look at me when I walked in. The therapist, Dr. Sarah Chen, was in her 40 seconds. Warm smile, professional demeanor. Miss Armstrong, thank you for coming. Please, sit. I sat across from Maya and Derek. The distance between us felt like miles. I want to start by establishing some ground rules, Dr. Chen said. This is a safe space. Everyone gets to speak without interruption. We're here to listen, to understand, and to see if healing is possible. Does everyone agree? We all nodded. Maya, would you like to start? Maya's hands were shaking. Derek took one of them. I don't know what to say. I'm still so angry. At my mom, at everything that happened. We lost our baby. And I can't stop thinking that if the wedding had just been normal, if there hadn't been all that stress, maybe our baby would still be alive. Maya, I started. Dr. Chen held up a hand. Let her finish, please. Maya continued. The video is everywhere. People at my work saw it. Derek's clients saw it. His parents won't talk to me anymore. They blame me for not controlling my mother, for bringing drama into their family. And I blame my mother for doing what she did, for making my wedding about her, for embarrassing me in front of everyone I know. She finally looked at me. Her eyes were red, swollen. You humiliated me, Mom, on the most important day of my life, and I'll never get that day back. I'll never get my baby back. And I don't know if I can forgive you for any of it. Dr. Chen turned to me. Miss Armstrong, would you like to respond? I took a deep breath. I'm sorry you lost your baby. I'm sorry for your pain. I would never want that for you. Ever. But Maya, I'm not sorry for what I said at your wedding. I'm sorry for how it happened. I'm sorry it became public. But I'm not sorry for speaking the truth. The truth? Maya's voice rose. You made it sound like I'm some ungrateful, terrible daughter. You erased your father from your own wedding. You spent his insurance money and lied about it. You let the Crawfords treat me like I was nothing. You thanked everyone except the people who actually paid for your wedding. What was I supposed to do? Stay silent forever? You were supposed to be my mother. You were supposed to support me, not destroy my wedding. I was your mother for 29 years, Maya. I raised you alone after your father died. I paid for your education, your life, your wedding. I gave you everything I had. And you thanked me exactly 0 times. You put me at table 8. You let Diane Crawford take the mother-daughter dance. You acted like I was an embarrassment you had to manage. Because you were embarrassing me, with your old car and your teacher salary and your working-class life. Derek's family has standards, expectations. I was trying to fit in. And there it was. The truth she'd been avoiding for months. So you're ashamed of me, I said quietly. Ashamed of where you come from. Ashamed that your mother teaches instead of running charity galas. Ashamed that your father was a nurse instead of a CEO. That's not what I said. But it's what you meant. You chose the Crawfords' approval over your own family. And when I called you out on it, when I refused to stay invisible, you couldn't handle it. Maya was crying now. You don't understand what it's like. Being the only one in Derek's world who doesn't come from money. Who doesn't have the right clothes or the right connections or the right background. I was trying so hard to belong. And you ruined it. I didn't ruin anything, baby. You were already losing yourself, trying to be someone you're not, trying to erase where you came from so the Crawfords would accept you. That's not belonging, that's erasure. Derek spoke up. Mrs. Armstrong, with respect, you don't know what my family is like, the pressure they put on us, the expectations. Maya was trying to navigate an impossible situation. Then you should have stood up to them, both of you. You should have told them that Maya's family matters, that her father matters, that I matter. But you didn't. You let them erase us, and you participated in it. Dr. Chen intervened. I'm hearing a lot of pain on both sides. Maya, you felt caught between 2 worlds and unsupported by your mother when you needed her to help you fit in. Brenda, you felt erased and disrespected, and your late husband's memory was ignored. Both of those things can be true. But what she did at the wedding, Maya said, that can't be undone. Everyone saw it. Everyone knows. I can't go anywhere without people recognizing me as the ungrateful daughter from the viral video. And I can't go anywhere without being the angry mother who ruined her daughter's wedding, I said. We're both living with consequences, Maya. Both of us. The difference is, I told the truth. You've been lying for months. To me, to Derek, to yourself. What are you talking about? You knew about your father's medical debt. You found the hospital bills 2 years ago. You saw how much I owed. And you still took the $58,000. You still spent it on the wedding. You knew I was struggling, and you took the money anyway. Maya's face went pale. Derek looked at her. Maya, is that true? She didn't answer. I found your search history on my laptop, I said. June 2022. Average cost of cancer treatment, medical debt after death, life insurance versus medical bills. You looked it up, you knew, and you still let me give you that money. You still spent it on impressing the Crawfords. I thought you'd tell me if it was really a problem, Maya whispered. I thought you'd care enough to ask. The session ended with no resolution. Dr. Chen suggested we meet again. Maya agreed, reluctantly. I agreed because I had nothing left to lose. Outside in the parking lot, Maya and Derek got into their BMW. I got into my Toyota. And we drove away in opposite directions. 3 years later, January 2028. I'm sitting in my living room. Same house, same furniture, same life, mostly, but different, quieter, emptier. Maya and I never reconciled. After that therapy session, we met 2 more times. Both ended the same way. Her blaming me for the miscarriage, me refusing to apologize for speaking the truth. Derek caught in the middle, trying to fix something that was fundamentally broken. The last time I saw her was March 2025, 6 months after the wedding. She came to the house to pick up some boxes of childhood things she wanted. We stood in the driveway. Awkward. Distant. "How are you doing?" I asked. "Fine. Derek and I are looking at houses in Ballantyne, near his parents." "That's good. We're trying again. For a baby. The doctor says there's no medical reason we can't. I hope it works out for you." She looked at me. Really looked at me for the first time in months. "Do you? Or are you still angry at me?" "I'm not angry, Maya. I'm sad. Sad that you chose people who looked down on you over the mother who raised you. Sad that you can't see what you lost in exchange for what you gained." "I lost a baby, Mom. I lost my wedding day. I lost my relationship with you. I know exactly what I lost. But do you know why? Do you understand that it didn't have to be this way? That if you just acknowledged your father, acknowledged me, honored the people who actually loved you, none of this would have happened? You're the one who made the scene. You're the one who walked out. After being erased for months. After watching you pretend like your father never existed. I'm not sorry for that, Maya. I never will be." She loaded her boxes into Derek's car. "I don't think we should see each other for a while. Maybe a long while. I need space to heal, to move on, to build my life without this hanging over me." "Okay. Derek's parents think we should cut contact completely, that you're toxic, that the stress you cause isn't worth it. And what do you think?" She was quiet for a long moment. "I think they're right. I think you made a choice at my wedding, and I'm making a choice now. Goodbye, Mom." That was 3 years ago. I haven't seen her since. Haven't heard her voice. Don't know if she had another baby. Don't know if she's happy. Don't know if she ever thinks about me. The video is still online. 3.8 million views. It shows up when you search my name. It's the first thing people find when they Google Brenda Armstrong Charlotte teacher. I went back to teaching full-time. The controversy died down eventually. New scandals replaced mine. The school district quietly ended my administrative leave. Dr. Morrison retired 2 years ago. The new principal doesn't know anything about the video. To him, I'm just Miss Armstrong, the chemistry teacher who's been here for 28 years. The students are kind. They don't know about my daughter. They just know I teach stoichiometry, and I'm fair with grades, and I'll stay after school if they need help. I still pay $1,650 every month on Marcus's medical debt. $26,000 left. 2 more years and I'll be free of it. Free to retire. Free to figure out what comes next. Lorraine and I still meet for coffee on Wednesdays. She's the only one who knows the whole story. The only one who doesn't judge. Last week she told me Maya's pregnant again, due in August. Lorraine heard it through the hospital network. She asked if I wanted to reach out. I said no. Not because I don't care, but because Maya made her choice. And I made mine. And sometimes those choices cost you everything you can't get back. I started the Marcus Armstrong Memorial Scholarship Fund, like I'd planned. It's smaller than I wanted, $36,000, instead of the $50,000 I'd hoped for. Only enough for 1 student per year. Part-time tuition at Central Piedmont Community College. Books, childcare stipend. The first recipient was a 2-year-old single mother of 3 who wanted to become a nurse. She lasted 1 semester, dropped out because her car broke down and she couldn't get to class. The fund paid for a semester she never finished. The second recipient is doing better. She's in her 2nd year now. Nursing program. Works nights at a gas station to make ends meet. She sends me updates sometimes. Tells me about her classes. About her kids. About how hard it is, but how grateful she is. I think Marcus would have liked her. Would have seen himself in her. The night shifts. The sacrifice. The determination to give your kids something better. People still recognize me sometimes. At Target, at the gym, at church. "Aren't you the wedding video lady?" I tell them yes. They either nod sympathetically or walk away quickly. Depends on which side they took in the comment section 3 years ago. I'm 61 years old now. I teach high school chemistry for $72,000 a year. I drive a Toyota Corolla with 203,000 miles. I live in a house I bought in 1998. And I don't have a relationship with my daughter. Was it worth it? Standing up at that wedding? Speaking the truth? Honoring Marcus's memory? I don't know. Some days I think yes. I got my dignity back. I refused to be erased. I drew a line and I held it. Other days I think about the grandchild I'll never meet, the daughter I'll never hold again, the family I destroyed to prove a point. But here's what I do know. Love without boundaries isn't love, it's self-destruction. I spent 5 years after Marcus died trying to buy Maya's affection with money I didn't have, trying to be enough, trying to fill the hole her father left. And it didn't work. She still chose people who looked down on her over the mother who gave her everything. She still erased the man who raised her. She still lied about where her money came from. Maybe if I'd set boundaries earlier, things would be different. Maybe if I'd said no sometimes, taught her that love includes respect, she wouldn't have become someone who could erase her own father from her wedding. Or maybe this was always going to happen. Maybe the moment she met Derek Crawford, the moment she saw what his family had, she was always going to choose that world over ours, over me, over Marcus's memory. I don't have the answers. I just have my dignity, and a silent phone, and a spare bedroom that used to be Maya's that I can't bring myself to change. My name is Brenda Armstrong. I'm 61 years old. I teach chemistry. I honored my husband's memory at my daughter's wedding, and I lost her forever because of it. If you're watching this, if you're in a similar situation, I can't tell you what to do. I can only tell you what I learned. That being right doesn't mean winning. That standing up for yourself has costs you can't predict. That some bridges, once burned, can never be rebuilt. I got my dignity back. I lost my daughter. And 3 years later, I still don't know if it was worth it. But I'd probably do it again. Because some things are worth losing everything for, even if you're the only one who thinks so. That is Brenda's story. Now I want to hear from you. Where are you watching this from? What city? What country? Drop it in the comments below. I love seeing our global community come together over these powerful stories about family, sacrifice, and the price of dignity. Real question. If you were Brenda, what would you have done? Would you have stayed silent at the wedding? Would you have confronted Maya privately months earlier? Or would you have done exactly what Brenda did and spoken the truth in front of 185 guests, knowing it would go viral? Tell me in the comments. Hit that like button if this story made you feel something. Share it if you know someone who's ever been taken for granted by family, someone who gave everything and got nothing in return, someone who had to choose between staying silent or speaking up, knowing either choice would cost them something they couldn't get back. And subscribe for more raw, real stories about family sacrifice, the cost of boundaries, the difference between being right and being happy, and what happens when standing up for yourself means losing the people you stood up for. See you in the next video.